He was 25 years old, strong and hardworking. He lived on a small farm with his mother after his father passed away. Every morning before sunrise, Eli would go out to the fields, feed the animals, and fix fences. From the outside, his life looked simple and peaceful. But inside his mind, there was a storm. Eli could never stop thinking. His thoughts kept running like wild horses, about money, about his future, about things he had lost. He worried about everything. Sometimes he thought about his father's death and blamed himself for not being able to save him. Other times, he felt scared that his small farm would fail. Because of all these thoughts, he couldn't sleep well, couldn't eat properly, and couldn't even enjoy the sound of the wind in the trees. One evening, while working in the barn, Eli heard an old neighbor talking about a retired war veteran who lived deep in the valley. The old man's name was Samuel Grayson, known in nearby villages as the man with a calm heart. People said he used to help soldiers deal with their fear and anxiety during the war. Now he lived alone in a wooden cabin, surrounded by silence and nature. Eli felt a strange pull inside him. Maybe, he thought, this man could teach him how to calm his own storm. The next morning, he packed a small bag, told his mother he'd return soon, and started walking toward the valley. The road was long, covered with dust, and the summer sun burned his skin. But he kept walking. After hours of walking through the hills, Eli finally saw smoke rising from a chimney. There it was, a small wooden house beside a quiet stream. An old man sat outside on a chair, his eyes half closed, listening to the sound of the water. Eli approached quietly and said, "Sir, my name is Eli Turner. I heard people say you help those who cannot find peace. My mind is always restless. I can't stop thinking. I can't find peace." The old man slowly opened his eyes and smiled gently. "So you want peace?" he said. "Then you must learn something simple. Follow me." Samuel took Eli to the stream nearby. The water was crystal clear and cold. He filled a small metal cup to the very top and handed it to Eli. "Walk from here to that old oak tree," he said, pointing across the field, "and come back. But remember, don't let a single drop spill." Eli nodded and began to walk carefully. The grass was uneven, the wind strong, and a few chickens ran across his path. But Eli kept his eyes only on the cup. Step by step, he reached the tree, turned around, and came back without spilling a drop. Samuel smiled. "Good," he said. "But tell me, did you notice the sound of the river? The birds singing in the trees? The smell of the grass?" Eli looked down and shook his head. "No, sir. I was only watching the cup." The old man leaned forward and said softly, "That, my boy, is how your mind works. When you keep your focus only on one thing, what is happening right now, your mind becomes still. You didn't think about yesterday or tomorrow while carrying that cup. You lived in this very moment. That is peace." Eli stood silently. His breathing slowed. The words sank deep inside his heart. He realized that all his pain, fear, and confusion came from thinking too much, about things that had already happened or things that might never happen. Samuel placed his hand on Eli's shoulder and said, "Son, life is like this cup of water. If you keep watching the road, worrying about every stone, you'll lose your balance. But if you focus on the cup, on the moment right in front of you, you'll walk steady and nothing will spill." That evening, Eli sat by the stream long after the sun went down. For the first time in years, his mind was quiet. The sound of the flowing water felt like a song. He watched the stars appear one by one and felt something he hadn't felt in a long time: peace. When Eli returned home the next morning, his mother noticed the change in his face. There was a calm smile where once there had been worry. He still worked hard, still faced problems, but his heart was lighter now. When the storms came, he didn't fight them. He just focused on the cup, on the moment. And slowly the storm inside him disappeared forever.